Okay, body three, want to go over our rower. You've probably seen this in the back of all the cardio equipment. Definitely want you to be able to use it and know how to use it correctly. So a couple things about the setup of it. You have your feet placement here. On the feet placement, there's actually some numbers. They go from 1 up to 5, and then there's an additional one for 6, even though there's not a 6 on here. So the way to gauge where this should be for you is if you put your foot in here, this band should sit right on kind of the middle of the top of your foot, okay? So when you tighten this up, that's where it should be. So if this is too high, it would come up too far up on my foot. If it was too low, it would come up too high on this part of my foot. To get out of here, I just push this open like that, loosens it up, I can slide out of there, okay? Put it back in, tighten it up, so on. To adjust these, you just pop it out, and you can scooch it up, you can scooch it down, okay? On the opposite side of the rower is called the damper, and it goes from 1 all the way up to 10. And I'm going to give you a couple quick lessons on that. Generally, most of you guys are going to be at a 4 to a 7. Those are generally good numbers to play around with. The higher the damper, the harder the resistance on your pull. Unless you are really aggressive with your upper body strength, I wouldn't suggest going that hard. You can read some reviews on that, and they're all going to tell you the same thing. Generally, 9 to 10s is not your aerobic capacity rowing. It's generally for your competitive rowing. If you want to play with the 9s and 10s, that's fine. Wouldn't be my general recommendation for most people, though. 4 to 7 is going to be a good range in there, and again, that's just the rate of resistance as you're pulling, okay? Last part is the seat's movable, okay? So you can move the seat wherever you want to. It kind of slides with you, obviously. Is your menu screen, okay? So there's menu display units. You're just going to kick the menu on right there. It's going to pop up this screen right here. You're going to do just row, okay? And it's going to pop up a general screen. This screen is fine. It's not my favorite one. If I go to display, it'll change it again, change it again. This is my preferred screen, okay? This is how I kind of keep track of things, and this is an easy one for me to follow. On top of here is how long I've been on it, okay? So it's kind of my timer. This is how long my split is for my 500 meters. So rowing is general 500, 1,000, and 2,000 meter splits. Those are generally competitive rowing numbers. So you'll see it says 500 meters. This is my pace for my 500 meters, okay? And I'll explain that in a second. This is how many meters, total meters I've completed, and then how many meters per minute or per second that I'm rowing. This number right here, okay, so how long it takes me to do my 500 meter split. Just to keep things in perspective, competitive rowers are rowing 130 to 145 500 meters, okay? That's how long it's taking them to get through 500 meters. So there are not many competitive rowers here. If you are, come chat with me, because I would love some advice on rowing, because I love rowing. But most of you guys are going to sit at like a 150 to a 230 mark, okay? The closer you can get to that 2 mark, 2 minutes for 500 meter row split is great. That's a good pace to have for your 500 meter split. A little bit above, a little bit below would be great. Just you need to kind of play around with that and see how it feels for you. If you're rowing and you look up here and it's 3 minutes, let that be your goal to get down to 245 to 230 to 215, and just keep working at that. So a couple things as you're rowing. I'm going to lock myself in here. I see a lot of people doing very short. Rowing is an actual glute hamstring activation, okay? So what I see a lot of people doing is this very short rowing piece, and so they are coming out and then right back in, like so. I changed my screen. And if you look at the screen, my numbers stay pretty high. Even if I'm a strong puller, I'm at 222, I'm not really getting full extension of my arms or my legs, and I'm going right back in, and that's going to get exhausting, guys, okay? So the idea of rowing is use the strength of your legs to pull out of the rowing machine, and then at the last moment you're going to use that last little bit of aggressive pull through your arms, and then quickly release and then come back in. So You saw 220, 230 pace. I'm going to slow everything down, but I'm going to be rowing more meters, and my pull's going to be more aggressive, okay? Because remember what I said, competitive rows are at 130 to 145, okay? So watch, I slow it down. Aggressive pull at the end, release. I'm down to 208, 157, and I'm giving myself a break here, guys, okay? It's how hard I'm pulling the rowing machine at the very end, okay? So it doesn't matter if I'm doing this business right here. This is gonna get tiring real quickly, okay? And you're not gonna get through your meters very quickly. Your goal is to get through a lot of meters. Pulling hard at the end. So watch my legs, full extension of my legs, then I pull. Full extension of my legs, then I pull. Notice I pull right down, chest level, okay, a little bit below the chest. You don't want it up here, you don't want it down at your belly. This is your kind of your sticking point to be able to get that hard pull. If it's too high, you're gonna start taxing your shoulders very quickly, it's gonna start hurting, it's gonna be a problem. You stick right here, you're actually engaging those lats, which is what you want to do while you're rowing, okay? So big pull with my legs and then my arms. I release, then I come back in, okay? So I'm going to reset it, and I am going to show you what 100 meters good pulling looks like, okay? Because I just showed you some clips of it. And I'm going to keep a pretty aggressive pace, okay? Okay, 100 meters. I kept a 144, 145 pace. That's, my heart rate's up a little bit, but I don't feel like I'm gonna fall out of the rower, okay? You wanna get to the point where you can get lower split time, more meters rowed, okay? On the screen, you can play around with some different features, so to speak, on the rower. If I go back to the menu, I can do just row, which is what I just did. I can do select a workout, or I can do games. Don't worry about memory or more options. Select a workout, they're gonna give you a standard list. These are just general meters that you can row, and it will do a countdown. So if I did 2,000 meters, it's gonna count down as I come down those 2,000 meters. I can do a custom list. These are time splits if you're trying to beat a time. I can re-row something if I want to see how they compare. Or one that I like to use is a new workout. And I will create a single distance, single time intervals. You can kind of play around with this, and if you need help setting this up, just let us know. Single distance, say I want to go 500 meters. I'm going to just go through this like so, check it, and now it's counting down with 500 meters, okay? So it's a great way to kind of, okay, I've got 250 meters left, I've got to speed this up or slow it down, or however you're trying to get your split in there. And then we got games. How cool is that? You got a fish game. So you're a fish, and you're trying to outswim the other fish, okay? So just kind of keeps things fun. Darts, target training, racing is a really cool one too. Biathlon. So just some fun things that you can do on here. This is a great alternative to what you're doing for your cardio anyways. It's challenging. I love rowing, probably one of my favorite things to do, and it's still challenging as much as I've done it. So play around with this, introduce it into your cardio routine. If you have questions about the pulling, about the setup, come chat with us. We definitely want to make sure that you're safe on this. Just in your rower, always think lead with the legs, final push with or pull with the arms, release, come back in, repeat. Okay? The rower.